Well, I thought we'd hang in the shipping department a little longer. Let's see, what have we got today? Mark in Scotland. Wow. My last name is McGowan, and we went to Ireland and Scotland. And my father had always told me that McGowan, MCG, as opposed to MAC, MacGowan, was Scottish. That's what he always thought, though it was just my father's word. And when we went there, we immediately were told by the Irish that Mick Gowan is clearly Irish. And when we went to Scotland, they said, no, it's clearly Scottish. And in fact, I think we did Scotland first, and we came back, and this Irish guy said, well, there are no such people as Scottish people. They are all Irish people who just went there and just never came back. So they're just confused Irish people, is what he. Two great countries. I really enjoyed our stay. So Mark in Scotland writes, during music passages or recordings where there's a very dense mixture of sounds, extremely high frequency and low frequency, plus vocals, keyboards, and possibly more, how is it captured and kept on recorded media? I can't understand how it would work with just one item. Oh, I can understand how it could work with just one item, say a piano or a guitar note, but it baffles me how sound of an entire orchestra or rock band can be captured in vinyl grooves or digital bits. Sorry, probably not an easy question to answer, but no matter how much I learn and study the subject of hi-fi, whenever I sit down and listen to a large-scale work, I find it baffling that in each tiny groove there are all those minute layers of detail and with good equipment, and none of it seems to suffer masking. Regards, Mark. Yeah, that is a little tough. In one way, it's simple in that our systems, well, let's just start at the beginning. When we make a recording, we have a microphone. And a microphone has a little membrane that air pressure moves back and forth, and we convert it to electrical energy. In your ear, you have a microphone of sorts. It's called an eardrum. And sound pressure comes in and pushes against that eardrum, and the cilia and the nerve endings inside of your ear respond and turn that into electrical signals too, which go to your brain and get interpreted, right? So a microphone is very much like your ear. So in its simplest form, we might say, well, how is it that our ear can hear complex notes and still make out the individual instruments? We could say that's a good question, but if we accept that happens, then a microphone, which is essentially the same thing as your ear, and they work almost in very similar ways, it does the same thing, and then your recorder just simply records the electrical impulses coming out of the microphone, whether they be complex or simple, same as our brain does that with the electrical signals generated through the nerve endings in our ears. So they're very similar processes. And so on one hand, it doesn't seem too difficult to make sense of that. I think the greater answer to all of this is our brain. The ability of the brain to pick out individual instruments and melody lines that are going on in complex music is really the key here, because from an electrical standpoint, it is no more difficult to record the wiggles, which are just electrical signals coming out of a microphone. You just think about placing a microphone in front of an orchestra, or a stereo microphone, in front of an orchestra. The sound pressure that comes is the same pressure that comes to your ears. It picks it up. We record all the changes in voltage, and because nothing is happening at anything that is stressing out modern electronics. I mean, we're only talking 20 kilohertz. We have microphones that can record into the ultrasonic with ease, and recorders that can do the same thing. So it isn't that complex waveform that comes out that seems to be baffling, but I think it's the brain. Your ability to pick out a conversation, for instance, in a crowded room, how you can laser focus. Just think about it. You're at a cocktail party and all this noise and clinking is going on, and you are able to pick out a single conversation from that. It's something a machine to date can't do. We'll finally figure it out, but it's something a machine simply cannot do. And the reason is because while we have microphones that can easily pick up everything and more that the ear can hear, it's the brain that's picking apart those words and or the single bassoon within a huge group of other instruments playing. It's the brain. And that takes a great deal of memory. You know what a bassoon sounds like, and you can pick those individual things out of that mix. But that's pretty much, I think, and I hope that answers your question. It's not the microphones. That's nothing too tricky. It's up here. All right. Thanks. And from one McGowan to perhaps another, hi. Bye.